Hi, welcome once again to Senior Focus. I'm your host, Bill Adams, and we come to you a couple times each month on Armstrong Channel 20 and 100 through the community programming channel there. And thanks to Greg Roten at Armstrong. And also we come to you every week from Fellows Riverside Gardens, and especially the Davis Center. And we want to thank Keith Kaiser. Keith will be on a little bit later. But right now we have another staff person here at Fellows Gardens, and Anita, and your last name is Wessler.
Yes.
And Anita is going to talk to us about a really neat project that the Gardens just completed, a book actually that they worked in conjunction with the city schools of Youngstown. And we'll talk quite a bit about that and some of the beautiful artwork they have here in the Weller Gallery. Mm-hmm. And welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill.
Well, why don't we get started at the very beginning? How long ago did you come up with the idea for this, or what was the start of it?
Actually, not too long ago, in terms of a book being published. Mm-hmm. Probably the idea initiated last summer. I had known the artist who worked with the students, and she was here in Youngstown. She's from New Jersey. She was working with students at Cheney and at Bunn, the elementary school. Mm. So I got to visit with her, and we were talking, and she was telling me about some of her past projects. And one, she had applied to do a book with some students in Pennsylvania. And it didn't go through, but she was explaining this to me. And I said, this sounds like a wonderful project, you know, that we might be able to do at Fellows Riverside Gardens.
Sure.
So then we explained to Keith and some of the Friends Board, who's been really supporting this project. And that's how, in a very short time, by October, we had the students here at the Gardens and started working on the artwork that you will see in the exhibit. And by, I'm not even sure when it was sent to the printer, but after October, then Dar Hosta worked on it, and it was sent off to the printer, and we just got the copies back in the beginning of April.
And this is the actual front of the book. I don't know if we can get a picture of that. And again, Dar Hosta is the artist you work with. And how many students were involved?
There were 40 students. They're sixth graders at Cheney, the VPA and STEM program at Cheney. So they were really very enthusiastic. They were so much fun to work with. I can tell you a little bit about how this too came about. That one of my projects here, or my responsibility, is the school programs and the education for different programs at Fellows Riverside Gardens. Well, I always have wanted to have some project where we do some school classes, we do tours for children, but I wanted to be sure that we would touch every child that goes through the Youngstown schools. So before they graduate, they would know where Fellows Riverside Gardens is located and becomes part of their life.
Well, not to interrupt, but I understand that a lot of them, this is the first time they had been there.
Yeah. I would say 2/3 of the children that were involved in the book project, this might have been their first visit to the gardens. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, you know, as I said, we offer classes on leaves or plants, seeds, you know, and we do tours in the spring and the fall. But we keep trying to reach out to students, and what could we do? So this just seemed like a very unique idea, a way to bring, and initially we thought, oh, can we bring more students? As it turned out, this is kind of a pilot project. We had 40 students, and that was a good number to work with. They got a lot of individual attention. So what they did, they came last October. They came here for a tour, and a special tour. We had stations set up in the gardens, and the students came with cameras, and we gave them clipboards, and they were taking notes, and we had some stations set up. Keith was out in the family garden. He was talking to the students about seeds. It was in October, so the children loved the sunflowers. They were all these great big heads of sunflowers,
Oh, sure.
full of seeds. And the dahlia garden is close by, so the children could see that. And then we had bulbs for them to plant. So every child planted bulbs in the family garden. Actually, this spring the tulips were blooming, so that was pretty neat.
Oh, great.
So they had this special tour, and they were walking around, taking lots of pictures, making notes, and then they went back to their school and spent 2 days with our hoster writing poetry, and then 2 days making collage that you will see in the exhibit.
Well, we're going to share a little bit of each, maybe a few of the poems here, and then also some of the artwork. Now, one of the things you mentioned was the family garden, and would you like to talk a little bit more about that? Because I've seen it as I drive in, but I never really knew about it, and you could describe what that is.
Well, the family garden has been here actually for at least 6 years or more. And every year I like to think it gets a little better. It's my responsibility too. So, and the idea, you might wonder why we call it a family garden. I mean, often I'll have to explain it's a children's garden. But I think Youngstown is so very family oriented, and we wanted a place that families could interact. You know, so it's more hands-on than the rest of the formal garden here at Fellows Riverside Gardens. So children can come and dig or plant. If we have the discovery card out with a volunteer greeter, there are more activities to do out there. But there's always like strawberries to pick out there. So you can actually, you know, it's a place
it's
where
hands-on type
hands
thing,
out.
yeah.
And what I mean, it's very, very low key, but you know, parents can come and talk about strawberries to their child and actually let them pick strawberries there or dig.
And this is something also, again, you know, you're watching Senior Focus here, so we may have some grandparents that are watching. So this would be, I guess, an ideal thing too, if you want to bring your young grandchildren here to, you know, to introduce them maybe to plants and gardening. And here we are again with Anita Wessler. Anita is going to show us some of the photographs that the children actually took from the book project. And Anita, just maybe take us around here.
Sure, let's start right here. All of these photos were taken by the children. When they came for the special tour, they had cameras in hand. We had little groups. And it's so much fun, I think, to look through the eyes of the children, what they saw. And I think their photographs are just wonderful. I mean, this must have been out in the family garden. A close-up of lambs here. Here, a portrait of one of their friends, and I really think that is so unique with, you know, with the little sprig of lavender, I believe that is, the hydrangea, and they were so careful. There's a little web right here, so they really see, you know,
you can actually see the detail of that. Yeah,
and they look closely at things too.
Oh, is that caterpillar?
The caterpillar that is sort of a signature in the Walk in the Gardens book, that you find on every page. So, yeah, they were quite enamored with the woolly caterpillar. This, you might wonder what this is all about, kind of unusual framing. But one of the things, we gave the children little frames to hold up, just, you know, to kind of look at things closely. So one child decided to use that and actually photograph through it.
Oh, okay, so you could see the frame here.
Yes.
And they're taking a picture through that.
Of the dahlia, yes.
That's nice, yeah.
Pretty unique too. They're very creative. This shows the children, you can see, I told you they had clipboards, and some of them might be holding cameras, and they're just taking a little rest there, but a little snapshot of the children on their tour.
And probably asking a question about one of the plants.
Yeah, very politely. And here, this is out in the family garden. And it was last October, so the scarecrows had pumpkin heads, and it's fun to see the photograph. And then we'll get to one of the collages and you'll see how it was interpreted in the artwork. And also just a very,
That's very colorful.
nice,
yeah.
very, very nice composed picture there. And we have a couple more here. They were enamored with the dahlias. So that's the picture that you see, but also the close-up of the bee. So they're really paying.
I thought that was a bee.
Yeah, they're really paying attention to the detail. And then one of the girls picked up different things, petals and leaves, as they were touring. But again, I think it's a very good photograph. The hands and the colors all relate so well. I love that photo. Here's a favorite tree out in the gardens.
And this is actually a photograph because it looks almost like a painting.
I know it does. Yeah, it's beautiful tree, and that the lighting behind it really sets it off.